This right here is a diamond sword.
I was looking through my Discord server because I had just opened a free promo tab. A couple people have sent their Discord servers and other things, but one thing caught my eye. There's a Discord server invite to a server called Mono-PS. I didn't know it at the time, but PS stands for private server, so I didn't have any idea what I was getting into. After I joined the server and realized what it was, I installed a geode mod that allowed me to join it.
Narfi tripped while running from his problems. Ha! Run from my problems? I would never. Oh. Today I'm not running from my problems so much as we're chasing ridiculous death messages. A while back, I saw a post from Agent Xenial on Blue Sky with some ridiculous death messages. Things like Agent Xenial was blown up by wandering into a Narfi video, or even was slain by a toddler using a lollipop. Completely ridiculous things that wouldn't happen in the base game. So I followed up, asking what's a goofy, unhinged, or even downright absurd death message that could pop up in chat. Today I'm coding the methods for obtaining those specific death messages, and the first one is this: indeed, you trip and you die. Narfi tripped while running from their problems. In order to obtain this specific death message, you'll see these little piles of rocks spawning naturally throughout the world. There's one I didn't place. If we just wander on over this way somewhere, there's a couple right there. I thought you could find them underground, but I guess not. Don't worry about this guy. We'll talk about him later. These spawn in such random locations that you might not expect them to trip you. It also adapts to whichever player is tripping. Oh boy. So it's an awful hazard if you're running away from something like problems. But this is just the start. There's so many other death messages that we can get in this mod, and some of them are absolutely terrifying.
What? Heck, that's actually a bit spooky.
Give me a kiss.
I didn't touch enough grass.
These features are absolutely ridiculous, so thanks for giving your suggestions. Let's move on to the first one, or second one. I can count. Not really, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm really just, Narfi was slain by McDonald's whilst trying to eat Whopper. Oh boy, I guess we gotta get a Whopper, huh? Burger King, here we come. Just kidding, you can craft them. In order to make a Whopper, you're gonna need a few things. That includes 2 pieces of bread, a piece of steak in the middle, a vegetable of some sort. As you can see, there's a couple different options, and some leafy greens, which includes quite a few random items. So let's try to get those, shall we? I think I'm gonna start by heading this way. I love that feature far too much. Hello, cow. Huzzah, steak. Let's go. Nothing drops bread. Oh, hello, other cow. Nothing drops bread, but I know where we can get some. Hey, guys, how's it going? Don't mind me, just taking care of business. Just need a little bit of this. Just don't mind me stealing these. That's fine, don't worry about it. What else you guys got up here, huh? What else you got? Goat horn, beautiful. We're gonna need that later. Bottle of enchanting, yeah. Oh, it didn't work. Got him. More wheat. Perfect. All right, I'm going back to spawn. Okay, now I need a vegetable and a leafy something. Wow, look at that. Naturally spawning carrots that totally just spawn in the base game. Don't worry about it. It's totally normal. It's totally what it is. Don't question, man. Don't question it. Oh. Ow. And I'll just wander on into this lush cave real quick and grab ourselves the next leafy green. Small drip leaf. Sounds good. Surely this is the most delicious option, right? And with that, I can place 2 bread like so, a steak in the middle, a vegetable on the left, and a leafy green on the right. And we get ourselves a Whopper. Now this thing is big. You thought this was a quarter pounder. How much steak did we get from that cow? And if we go ahead and eat this Whopper, you'll hear... someone, oh no, oh, Ronald, wait, please, Ronald, we can talk about that. I didn't mean to eat it. I didn't mean to eat the Whopper, Ronald. Please, I gotta get around you. Escape from Ronald. I have to escape. I gotta get out of here. Ronald, please, we can talk about this, man. We can talk about this. Oh, I tripped. I was running from my problems. He is a problem. Get freaking Ronald, please, Ronald. Narfi was slain by McDonald's whilst trying to eat Whopper. Oh, where's he going? Oh, there he goes. He killed a chicken. Was he gonna make nuggets out of that? Yeah. McDonald's doesn't like you eating Burger King. That's totally canon. For legal reasons, I don't know if that's actually true. Don't question. Anyways, I'm gonna go take him out real quick. I missed. Ronald, please. Okay. I got him, and I got myself a bat. That's gonna come in handy later. This isn't at all part of the actual comment, but I just decided it'd be really fun to have a bat that you can use. Also, I gave you this enchantment. If you enchant it with the charged enchantment, it does this. Hiya! Rest in peace. I also like the sound. Very cool. Anyways, all right, we gotta move on to the next one. This bat will come in handy at a later date. Who's next? At a later date. Sorry, I meant a later comment. But for now, we're doing this next comment. Who's next? I said that already. Who's next? Move on. Narfi didn't touch enough grass. Hey man, listen, I know I play video games for a living, but like I promise I get outside sometimes, all right? Calm down. If I just enable this new game rule, require touching grass, you'll see that something pops up in the top right of my screen. That is the new touched grass effect, and as you can see, since I'm standing on some grass, it's refreshing every tick. And as long as you're touching grass, there's no problems. You can walk around, do your thing, and you know, there's no problem with that. But if you step off of grass, the timer starts ticking down. 15 seconds, that's all you get on any block other than grass. And once it finally is up, Narfi did not touch enough grass. That's it. And I'm gonna just keep this on for the rest of the video. That couldn't possibly go wrong, right? I guess I'll just have to make sure that I'm touching grass as much as I can. And also that... Ow. All right, that's an easy one. Who's next? Player wandered too deep into the shadowy forest where the trees whispered ancient secrets. As the moonlight faded, he felt a chilling presence lurking behind him. With each step, the ground seemed to pulse beneath his feet, and the air grew thick with despair. Suddenly, the whispers turned into haunting laughter, and from the darkness emerged a figure cloaked in tattered rags, its hollow eyes fixed on him. Paralyzed by fear, he realized too late that he had stumbled upon a realm where nightmares come to life. In a blink, the figure reached out and swallowed his soul, leaving only a faint echo of his screams in the eternal silence. I love your content, Narfi. Thank you. Who is Fox? I love your content too, I guess. What a dramatic turn. I guess we're gonna have to go to a spooky forest now, huh? Well, sick lightning transition. Welcome to the Dark Oak Forest and the Pale Garden. These biomes are what some people consider to be scary biomes. It already happened. It's happening right now. Oh no! was too fast. Let me explain what just happened. As we wander through these scary forests, you'll see every once in a while there's some fog. You'll also start hearing some wind sound effects as the fog whistles through the trees. I want to see if I can find some fog. Just gotta listen. Wind. There's some fog. It's right there. There's fog in the wall there. There's a creeper as well. Okay, well, get out of here, pal. That worked out pretty well. And as you wander through the spooky forest, there's a very rare chance that you'll get murdered by a scary guy. Freaking get out of here, man. Go away, thank you. It's incredibly spooky. You never really know when it's gonna happen. And when it does, it's terrifying. This is genuinely one of the most scary comments I've ever had to code into the game, and I'm actually really happy with how this all turned out. I fully commissioned a really scary creature model for this, and man, did they not disappoint. Goodbye. I'm gonna let you just go up there. Let me just show you guys how this works. Randomly as you walk through, this will happen. The fog will build and a creepy guy will spawn out of the fog and take you out. And as you can see, it says, "No, if you wander too deep into the shadowy forest where the trees with strange secrets of the moonlight faded, they felt a chilly presence lurking behind them. With each step, the ground seemed to pulse with their faith. And then a group thick with despair suddenly was to turn out and leave every drug, paralyzed with fear, realized too late, look at the figure, reached out in eternal silence." So the full comment is the death message. And yeah, there's no way to get around it. There's no way to evade it. It just gets you. But the full story doesn't stop there because I had to code this into the game before we actually had the model done. So I did something. I realized I was gonna need a placeholder so that I could actually like add the functionality into the game. So if I just use this game rule, use scary placeholder, this happens. Boom. Oh no, Fundy, please, Fundy, I didn't mean to steal all your ideas. Now every time you walk into the scary forest, Fundy appears and he kills you instead. With that game rule, you get to choose whether or not you want the super spooky, scary, crazy, cool model, or if you just want Fundy to float out of the fog towards you. Either one is fantastic. So I'm definitely partial to this one. This one's way creepier. Look at that thing. Look at that thing. It's so scary. I'm far too happy with this. So who's next? Oh. Player had orange, immediate death. Hey man, I don't know what you got against oranges, but like, oranges are fine, all right? Calm down. But I did do your wishes. As you can see, in the forest, there are orange trees. I just gotta get over there. Get out of here, all right. There are orange trees. I just gotta get over there. Get out of here, all right. I'm gonna get to the orange trees. Here we go. This is an orange tree. It just spawns with oak wood, but the leaves are what we want. If you break the leaves, you'll get yourself an orange or 3. Or like, I think like up to 6 or something. There's a bunch of different, yeah, you can just get a bunch of oranges. These oranges look pretty tasty. They look pretty great, but I need hunger before I can actually do any of that. So I'm just gonna run around the forest. We're gonna see, there's a lot of orange trees here. Orange, 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 orange. Why are they orange? You know, what's up with oranges? Why is he so upset about the oranges? I'm taking some damage so I can, aha, I've got hunger now. If I go ahead and just eat one of these oranges, Narfi had orange immediate death. I mean, I don't know what else you expected. It's a great time. It's a pretty good thing. Yep, it's pretty. They literally don't do anything else. They're just oranges. But there is a funny little thing that I realized I could do. If I just summon a husk over here and he gives me a little bit of hunger and he attacks me. Here we go. If I'm trying to escape this guy, yep. Narfi had orange, immediate death. Also, husk was there. So if you're being attacked by someone and then you eat an orange, it'll clarify that person was also there. So that's pretty. It'll clarify that person was also there. So that's pretty cool. He's dead. Rip in pieces. And that's oranges. They're pretty orange. Who's next? Dave the Cheese Wizard was too cool for Narfi to handle. Isn't he always, you know? Dave's pretty cool. In order to properly make Dave cool, though, I'm gonna need a couple things. Ooh, look, a potato. Yum. If I just take some black wool, some blue wool, and a piece of gold, I can make myself a wizard's hat. And if I take some black stained glass and some iron bars, I can make some sunglasses. Both of which look so sick on me. Look at this hat, and now look how cool I am. But I like the wizard's hat. The wizard's hat's my favorite. It's very fun to look at. Look at me. I'm majestic. So now, we got Dave the Cheese. Look at, oh, I'm majestic. So now, we gotta go find Dave. Oh. As you know, typically cats spawn in village, but Dave is a very specific kind of cat. It's a cat named Dave. So we're looking for a cat named Dave. What's in here? Ooh, hello. Oh, don't mind if I do. Apples, nice. I look so good. I'm wizard up, ready to go. Oh, Dave. You're not Dave. You're just a normal cat. Dave, where are you? Oh, there's Dave. I found him. Dave, where are you, Dave? Dave, look, it's Dave. Hello, Dave. Come here, Dave. I want to give you things. That's right. Yeah, I know you're interested in this hat. That's right. It's a very cool hat. It's very cool. Hold on, Dave. I gotta touch some grass real quick. Look at this, Dave. Look how cool it is. Do you want it? Do you want it, Dave? Do you want it? Hello. What are you looking at? I'm gonna give this cat a wizard's hat. Stop. Don't question me. Stop questioning me. What do you get out of here? Get out of here. Dave, take that. Enjoy your beautiful wizard's hat, Dave. And I also want you to look really cool. Too cool for me to handle, so I'm also going to give you my sunglasses. Take these. Oh, Dave the Magical Cheese Wizard was too cool for Narfi to handle. He was. He sure was. And he damaged me so much that all of my iron armor broke immediately. Wow. You know what, Dave? No, you're not allowed to keep those. I'm taking them back. Get out of here. Go away. You can have the sunglasses. Get out of here. I'm taking my wizard's hat and leaving. Oh, man. He is really cool, though. Dave is looking sick. I'm keeping my wizard's hat. It's my wizard's hat, all right? My wizard's hat. I want to be a wizard, okay? All I want in life is to be a wizard. It's not true. All I wanted in life. There's another Dave? What? Double Dave going on. Sorry. I don't have an explanation. We're gonna move on to the next one. Yep. Who's next? Narfi tried to be a goat and got a permanent concussion. Oh, gosh. I think I'm gonna need a friend for this one. Or two. Lady and gentlemen, welcome to my random world full of... Tried to be a goat and got a permanent concussion. Oh, gosh. I think I'm gonna need a friend for this one. Or two. Lady and gentlemen, welcome to my random world full of pillager outposts. That's going to be very important momentarily. Press the button.
Yay!
Yeah!
Oh, I was gonna say I'm a wizard.
It didn't.
Yay!
Yeah!
Oh, I was gonna say I'm a wizard.
It didn't.
You don't see that
Don't
one.
worry about it. All right, wizard gang. Oh, it didn't.
You don't see that
Don't
one.
worry about it. All right, Wizard Gang. Our goal is to find a horn. Each of us need to find
A horn.
a goat horn
that
from
explains.
pillager outposts.
That explains
So-
all these things here.
Go. Good luck.
Pretty break.
Have fun. Don't die.
I'm probably gonna die. I'm probably gonna die.
Going to die.
Yeah. No, we all are pretty bad at this game.
Bets on who dies first.
I bet on me.
There's an alley. Hello, friend. Do you want to be
Where
my
is the door?
friend?
There's the door.
I definitely did not place these with creative mode commands, and so they are all perfectly placed with no issues whatsoever. Don't worry about it.
Come on, friend. Yeah.
No horn. Just.
Just wait. There are pillagers. There are pillagers.
I got this. I got this.
There's no pillagers where I am. I've got the easiest tower ever.
Oh, I got a goat horn right away. Let's go.
I did not.
Question: why are we getting these goat horns? You didn't really explain that.
You'll understand. You'll know.
I
Goats.
want to understand now. Just FYI. Of course, I picked the. Now, just FYI. Of course, I picked the. Why is there so many spawners in this one? Holy crap! Oh my god!
Y'all are struggling over there. I'm
need
over,
books.
I'm over
Oh
here
my
having a
God.
great time. I've got a little buddy with me.
TNT! I gotta get off!
I got a buddy with me. It's great.
I need to get out! Oh, I hit a rabbit!
Oh, I see you, Nature. What's up?
Yeah.
Oh, you did get an LA. Whoa.
I got a buddy.
Fair. You okay over there?
Okay, so second tower I find, there's a load of spawners everywhere. I get to the top and there's a freaking TNT that says "lol, subscribe to Narfi."
Yeah, you should do that, guys. I wonder who put that there. You should really do that. Man, that's crazy. You guys should subscribe.
I am so gonna use this TNT against you, Narfi. Oh, there's nothing in
Did
here.
you find anything?
I found a goat horn.
There's
You found
only
one?
wood and disappointment in this building. I hate it.
Ooh, there's a pebble on the ground. It's a good thing I didn't walk over that.
Why you say
There's a
that?
pebble.
Oh, I don't know. You never know what could happen, you know.
You know exactly
Yeah, with
what's gonna
Rocco.
happen, don't you?
You never know what happens when you walk over pebbles.
I'd imagine you trip over them.
How'd you know, actually? That's actually crazy. How'd you guess that? That's genuinely insane. How did he do that? Oh, I got a third goat horn. I got it.
There's so many of them.
Oh, goodness. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. What is going on down there? All right, everybody reconvene at the village. Reconvene at the village.
Reconvene
No,
the village.
I don't wanna.
Well, I have your goat horn, so you need to. Fair. Here you go.
Oh, hi.
Here we go. This is the first step in achieving our next death message. 1, 2, 3, go. Hello. You're probably wondering why I've gathered you here today.
You've both got beards!
You sound just like one! Whoa! All right, our next step in obtaining our next death message for this video is we need a burger.
Wait, can I have a cheeseburger?
Cheeseburger! I always know where nature is because there's just like 6 alleys constantly behind her.
There's 4, actually.
Okay,
Get it
it
right.
looks
Oh,
like
hey, Dave.
a lot more. I have enough for a Whopper already. I have my burgers.
Burgess.
Well, this is a Burger King burger, so if we eat it, which we can all eat at the same time, ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
I can't.
I'm holding a shield.
We do not have hunger. Okay, hit G on your keyboard. You shall return to human. Let's get hungry.
I'm hungry.
Oh, you
so-
can eat it. Oh, yep. Ronald is not happy. Ronald is not happy with your decision to eat Whopper. He's not happy about your decision. And we need to defeat Ronald. Yeah.
Out of here, clown.
Come here.
Perfect. I have a concussion.
Get concussed. Oh, I'm
I
concussed.
also have a concussion.
Well, everybody become goat.
How do I become goat?
Aw.
I tried to be a goat and got a permanent concussion, so
You did.
it's really unfortunate for me. Bonk!
Get out. Get out.
Yeah, get out of here. I just want to watch this unfold. Hey, Ferret, how's it going over there? Good to see you. Hey, Ferret, how's it going over there? Good to see you.
He did.
Mr. Player was killed by emotional damage. Nafy, please, I want to be in a video. Nafy? Who's Nafy? Why would you spell my name like that? That's so mean. I feel attacked. I feel disrespected. The emotional damage, it's too much. Mr. Narfi was killed by emotional damage. Nafy, please, I want to be in the video. It was in the death message too? Ugh. Man, maybe you were the one that caused the emotional damage. I can't believe it. Player tried to milk a creeper. Oh gosh. What does happen when you try to do that? Oh gosh, okay, hey buddy, hey, calm down. Okay, we can talk about this, all right? Come here. Liquid creeper? Oh. Well, that's, oh. I was gonna try to place it down, but I guess it's a drinkable, so that, oh. Narfi tried to milk a creeper. Well, I guess we know what happens now. Man. Maybe that was also emotionally damaging. Well, now that I have all those coded in... Every time. Now that I have all of those coded into the game, it's time to see how many my friends can find. I'm gonna map out a small amount of space where they can actually get each one of these death messages. It's up to them to find out how to do it. How many are they gonna find in the time allocated? I guess we'll find out. Hello!
Hi!
Hey guys, welcome to my server! Wow, the new SMP!
Narfi server!
Wow, new SMP
oh my god,
just dropped.
I already found diamonds! No way! Look, here I go! Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
wow.
look at it
Oh,
go!
it's
Wow.
a sword! Hey!
It's funny, you're gonna need to craft
Oh.
things later. Boys, this is a world with a bunch of dangerous things that will kill you. And that's the
Wait,
goal.
Fundy, I don't know what tells me this, but this feels like a world with a bunch of dangerous
So
things
I
that will kill
think
me.
it's a world with a lot of danger. And there's things.
This feels like a world with a bunch of dangerous
So
things
I
that will kill
think
me.
it's a world with a lot of danger, and there's things we need to do for a video. Is that right, Narfi?
That's right. How'd you know?
What gives, Mr. Polar Bear? Why do you put us in these situations?
Because it's funny for the content. Leave a like, subscribe today. All right, boys, are you ready? I'm gonna put you guys
Yes.
against each other, and you're gonna have to find all 9. First to 9 death messages wins. Go!
Oh,
Okay.
It's funny for the content. Leave a like, subscribe today. All right, boys, are you ready? I'm gonna put you guys
Yes.
against each other, and you're gonna have to find all 9. First to 9 death messages wins. Go!
Oh.
Okay, touch grass, done.
Good luck.
always punch a tree. Always punch a tree first, right? Is that a button?
You have to get the death and then respawn for it to count.
All right. Discover new modded death messages to increase the score above your player's head. Or new mod.
Is that a button?
You have to get the death and then respawn for it to count.
All right. Discover new modded death messages to increase the score above your player's head or in the tab list. First player to discover all 9 new death messages.
Heck is it?
Oh,
I have the power. I'm sorry. I don't know. I saw a button.
Good luck, players. I didn't touch enough grass.
oh, Fundy.
touching-
Fundy's got one.
I didn't touch
Fundy's
enough
got
grass,
one.
it seems.
I got one. That forest looks spooky.
It sure does.
I guess.
There's a bunch of advancements that will hint towards what the features are, and then the actual advancement that you
Yeah,
die
but
on,
let's
that's
make it.
also
Let's
nice.
make a local rule. We don't advancement unless we
Oh!
stuck.
Okay,
Good
I
plan.
did
Hey, you
achieve.
stopped touching grass.
Hey!
Good job.
All right, what the hell is this? This is I fell over a pebble.
Don't do that. Oh, super fast crafting music. Hey, get out of here, cheater!
No,
How many-
it's my
I got-
crafting table.
Bro, chill.
It's my crafting
How do
table.
you already have
It's
2?
my
That's so
crafting table.
unfair.
I feel like the pillagers will have to do something with
I'm
it.
kind of upset because I saw that there was a rock on the ground, and I see that there is an advancement pertaining to the rock, and I also I just kind of broke the rock and nothing happened. So you know,
Do leave some of
I
those
don't-
in there.
is it? No, no,
Okay, well, all right.
no, I'm not doing that. No.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that actually matches
Wow.
your skin far too well. That's
Wow.
insane.
Oh my,
Give me the thing that you have. I want the thing that you have. Give me. What is that? What are those?
Whopper? There is a. Oh my God.
They're like maple logs. They're autumn. It's autumn. It's October. It's a spooky. I don't know. What is this?
Knowing what all this is and then hearing what you guys are saying they are is the best combo.
Oranges. I got oranges. In
It's
one.
just oranges.
What?
Oh my God. I'll be honest. I don't know how I achieved, but I achieved.
Z,
Exactly
you
what
have
the sheep
only
said.
2 and I have 3. You're a noob. You're bad at
Yeah,
the game.
well, I have a wizard hat, so get schooled,
Yeah, I don't know how
cowboy.
you did that.
What is this?
The scores are currently Fundy 3, System Z 2, me 1. I don't know how I got one, but I'm in the race now.
Shut your mouth.
You did. Don't wander into forest too far. Well, I am. So now what's gonna happen?
Is this Dave? Dave got hit by a bone. No, that's not Dave.
Some
I'm
dude
really-
in my ear is shouting about Dave. Is that another death, or am I just really bored? Okay, well, I just want.
Oh, what?
That's pretty
You gotta touch
stinking
grass.
awesome right there.
You gotta touch the
Oh
grass.
God! Oh God!
Uh-oh.
The grass one is actually the most deadly.
It's the worst.
Yeah,
Ah! It's an enderman, and this is a regular thing.
it's not Dave, is it?
Dave is
Ow,
important.
What? Heck! Oh, that's actually a bit spooky.
What did it get you? It got you. I think it got you. Did it get you?
Yeah, I
Dave?
think so.
Heck
I
yeah.
think I got scaried.
You got the scary one.
Got a goat horn.
Goat horn is good. Goat horn is good.
I'm just trying to find Dave, but like I can't find Dave, and I
I
feel
see
like
Dave.
that's not okay. You see Dave?
I found Dave.
Well, tell me where he is, and I might be able to help you with something.
What if I killed Dave?
Well, maybe you shouldn't do that because there's something that both of us have
What
to
if
do.
I
that-
kill Dave and then you can't do your Dave thing?
Wait, I see Dave. I see Dave.
No, you don't.
Oh, I
No,
saw
you don't.
Dave a
No, you
minute
don't.
ago.
No, you don't.
He was so fast.
No, you don't.
And Dave's
my
dead.
God.
Dave's dead. Dave's dead.
Please tell me Dave will return.
Rest in peace, Dave.
Funny.
I killed Dave. What is this? How'd you get
I was
that?
supposed to give it to Dave, but I can't now.
He did steal all of the crafting items, so.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I
well.
don't want you to be able to achieve, so.
Well, I'm
Let's
just
see
gonna
if I
keep
can-
on killing Dave, so, you know.
Ow! Oh my God!
Fundy. Hey, Fundy. Hey.
No, shut
Yeah.
up. Don't do that.
Yeah.
This is just
Yeah.
here. This is just here. Not
Okay.
To, you know, nothing,
Okay,
no
I'll
reason
not-
for
I'll
or
ignore it
anything.
then if it's just
yeah,
there.
for sure. Definitely don't grab it.
Okay.
Yes, let's go.
You got a
That is
Whopper!
a giant hamburger.
Why
oh my
is the
God!
Ronald
Wait,
McDonald?
You
I don't
got
like
a
that.
Whopper!
I don't like that. Stop it.
Wow.
Oh wait, maybe I should let him kill me. Actually, hey, beat me up. Or well, maybe like I don't know. I
Spider
feel
might
like
get you. The spider might get you first.
nah. I got oranges.
This is really going
Oh
well.
God,
Yeah,
it's
this is
actually really difficult. Well, you try. Let's
going
switch
really
places.
well. I did. I recorded this video already.
Here.
Oh, he didn't get it. He didn't get the message.
All right, let's see what's in the chest then. Oh, it's the thing that I saw. The thing.
Hey! Hey!
Oh,
No,
oh.
come back, Dave. Yeah!
Dave.
I gave Dave the things that I
Did you give him both things?
yeah, I gave him both things.
Let's
go.
Did you give him both things at the same time?
Yeah. Oh God.
Hey, give him the hat. Give
So
him the hat.
yeah, I did. Wait, oh, I'm wearing the hat.
Yep. Mhm.
Where, Dave, here.
No.
Nice. Oh,
Give me the hat.
oh God.
Got the hat. I got his hat.
You did? Oh, yo.
Now I gotta find Dave.
Come here, Ron.
Do you have the glasses?
No, stop. No, stop, please.
No.
Ah, darn. what the
Loser.
heck?
Now you
Yeah,
can't even
I
do
got it. I got it
Defend
somehow.
Ronald. I fell. What did this to Dave? What did it to Dave?
Check out this really cool goat. Really cool
That is a
freaking
really cool
goat.
goat.
Oh.
All right, let me find Dave.
That checks
I
out.
see
That
Dave.
checks out.
dude.
Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
Hey.
Hey, Fundy, come here. I got a present for you. I got a present.
Oh yeah, me too.
Oh,
Oh,
what?
I'll just enjoy this.
Hey.
Hey, Fundy, come here. I got a present for you. I got a present.
Oh yeah, me too.
Oh,
Oh,
what?
I'll just enjoy this. It came. I
heard that.
See, now I see
Oh
now.
my.
But that's not a death message.
You also need
Now
to
it
get
is.
the no, not quite. You need to get the correct death
How'd you
message
do
for
that?
one.
How'd you do that?
That
I'm
one's
here now,
hard.
too.
That one's difficult.
Oh
I'm
my
here
God.
too. Give me that thing that you had.
Hey, I bet you'd love to hit
How
me
are
with
you
a bat
doing
right now.
that?
Hit me with a bat. Hit me with the bat.
No,
Give me
I'm not going
please.
to.
I will give you this goat horn if you hit me. On
All
the
right,
head with
deal.
that.
Drop it, and I'll punch you.
I don't. No, I'll drop it in midair. I'll drop it in
I
midair.
don't trust that.
I will drop it in midair.
Trust. Get
Yes,
ready?
yes.
3,
And-
2, 1. Drop it!
What the heck, dude?
You didn't drop it. You didn't even
It
drop
didn't
it.
work. You didn't hit me with the bat.
I did.
Prove it.
3, 2, 1.
That was a carrot.
Oh! Drop
God.
it! You're such a liar.
He didn't die from the concussion though, so he didn't. Whoa, that's so weird. Are you over here or are you over there? That's so strange.
That
I don't even know where
feels
you
like
are.
favoritism. That feels like
Weird.
Where's the bees?
favoritism.
There, that's so
Where?
strange.
That
I don't even know where
feels
you
like
are.
favoritism.
Weird.
Feels like
Where's the bees?
favoritism.
Where's the you?
That's so
my
weird
God.
over
That's
here.
another bee.
That's so strange. That's
What
yep.
the heck? Oh, I get it. Z,
Yeah?
do you have a
Yeah?
bat?
Yes.
Hit me against this wall. Hit me right now. Wait, no, I gotta go. Hit me. Hit me properly. Hit me.
He has to die from the concussion. You didn't die from the concussion.
I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss right now. Do I die with the orange somehow? Yeah,
Yeah.
I did die with the orange somehow.
Seciov orange immediate death. Also, pillager was there.
I'll go into the forest. That seems like a good idea.
I need to find a creeper to milk it. Do I need a bucket for this? There's a. I understand. Please.
Perhaps is there someone spooky in here in this spooky cavern of? Hello? Can I I'll put the one of you in the bucket. I'm gonna put. Oh, that's. Wow. I want to see the guy a little bit closer. I want to see the guy a little bit closer. I'll be honest.
Tried to milk a creeper. I tried. Now I gotta place him down. I have milked and I don't know what to do next.
Oh, there he is. Wow.
Oh.
Grab me. Give me a kiss. Uh-huh.
Oh.
Oh.
I got it.
Do I drink this again?
You don't drink it. Oh, you drank it. We're
Yeah.
tied right now, Z. We're tied.
I still don't know, at all how the concussion thing.
Do you? I'll become.
Oh, you drank it. We're tied right now, Z. We're tied.
I still don't know, at all how the concussion thing works.
Do you? I'll become freaking goats.
And then
Become goat.
Goat.
And then
I'm goat. And
take
then,
that. Look at your inventory.
Concussion, and then I die.
You just wait for it.
I see.
I'm Whopper.
Become
One
goat!
second.
No, don't do
No,
it.
I
Don't
must
don't listen to
Whopper.
him. It's not a good idea. It's you won't get it.
Okay, I'll become goat.
Go do it. Bonk. There you go. Okay, this is pretty even. It's 7-7.
Carrot. Bread. Thing. Flour. Whopper. Eat the Whopper. Munch and crunch.
Yup.
Big man. Do-do-do-do-do. Okay, now.
What's that? You want another one?
Hello.
Here it comes.
Ow.
Another Ronald McDonald.
Another
do I-
two
do I-
Ronalds.
Do I kill you? Do I die? Do I kill you? Do I die? Do I die? Do I kill you? I probably gotta die.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
That's it. Sad end. Cuff, end, cuff.
Kill me, Ronald. I've been not so great. There we go. And a sad end. And
Z, have you gotten the sad end yet?
no.
I think we gotta go to the nether. How can we get there?
I'm gonna be
gonna,
so
like,
for
go
real
down
with you
here.
guys. This is one of the easiest ones you could possibly do.
What you mean?
Do we just like
End.
leave? Do we just?
Sad. Help. No. What?
Possibly do.
What you mean?
Do we just like
End.
leave? Do we just?
Sad. Help. No. What? How do you do that? How do you do that?
Emotional damage. Look at this. Check it out.
How'd you do that?
Hello there. Oh, this. Check it out.
How'd you do that?
Hello there. Oh no, emotion.
I don't understand. How do you sad?
Who's
Can I
gonna
craft
figure it out
sadness?
first? Who's gonna figure it out first?
Z, what do we do?
I have no idea, and it's just kind of scaring me.
Options, controls, key bindings. I'm looking. I don't understand. How do I get it?
Very funny. I also didn't realize it didn't show up in the keybinds. It's actually.
How'd you do that?
Everybody trip. Yeah, let's trip.
figured
How'd
it
you do
out.
it?
It's the end button on your keyboard.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
$10,000 being wired to my bank account today.
Congratulations, Z. That is
Hold on.
amazing. Congratulations.
Wait, I got you. Here you go. $10,000 just for you. Enjoy.
How did you rename that so fast?
Wait, it's not even real $1,000.
Use scary placeholder true.
Oh no, it's me.
Nice, I beat it.
What if there was a night, and I, lying alone in my room, cursed myself for rebellious thoughts unloyal to Boris and unworthy of Genevieve. The morning always brought relief, and I returned to Genevieve and to my dear Boris with a heart washed clean by the tempest of the night. Never in word or deed or thought while with them had I betrayed my sorrow even to myself. The mask of self-deception was no longer a mask for me. It was a part of me. Night lifted it, laying bare the stifled truth below. But there was no one to see except myself. And when the day broke, the mask fell back again of its own accord. These thoughts passed through my troubled mind as I lay sick. But they were hopelessly entangled with visions of white creatures, heavy as stone, crawling about in Boris's basin, of the wolf's head on the rug, foaming and snapping at Genevieve, who lay smiling beside it. I thought, too, of the king in yellow, wrapped in the fantastic colors of his tattered mantle, and that bitter cry of Casilda, "Not upon us, O king, not upon us." Feverishly I struggled to put it from me, but I saw the lake of Hali, thin and blank, without a ripple or wind to stir it, and I saw the towers of Carcosa behind the moon. Aldebaran, the Hyades, Alar, Hastur, glided through the cloud rifts which fluttered and flapped as they passed like the scalloped tatters of the king in yellow. Among all these, one sane thought persisted. It never wavered, no matter what else was going on in my disordered mind, that my chief reason for existing was to meet some requirement of Boris and Genevieve. What this obligation was, its nature, was never clear. Sometimes it seemed to be protection, sometimes support through a great crisis. Whatever it seemed to be for the time, its weight rested only on me, and I was never so ill or so weak that I did not respond with my whole soul. There were always crowds of faces above me, mostly strange, but a few I recognized. Boris among them. Afterward they told me that this could not have been, but I know that was never clear. Sometimes it seemed to be protection, sometimes support through a great crisis. Whatever it seemed to be for the time, its weight rested only on me, and I was never so ill or so weak that I did not respond with my whole soul. There were always crowds of faces above me, mostly strange, but a few I recognized. Boris among them. Afterward they told me that this could not have been, but I know that once at least he bent over me. It was only a touch, a faint echo of his voice. Then the cloud settled back on my senses, and I lost him. But he did stand there and bent over me once at least. So we see that the King in Yellow fully has his hooks in Alec. All of his talk about how he had put his emotions away for 2 years, how he was perfectly happy with life continuing the way that it was. Now, that doesn't satisfy him. Now he talks about how at night he always thought about Genevieve, and even though it betrayed Boris and her, he couldn't help himself. And in the day he wore a mask, but at night that mask would slip. Which this is the mask that I believe the story is titled after, The Mask. And even though never in their presence did he have any thoughts of doing anything that would hurt either of them, now it seems to be all he can think about. He has visions of Genevieve lying on the floor laughing, tempting him. And at the same time that his mind is building up the image of Genevieve as wonderful, it's building up Boris as a monster that has creatures made of stone crawling from his pool. But of course, he has images of the story itself. Again, these vague mentions of the Lake of Hali and seeing the tatters of the King in Yellow's mantle. We get a few more excerpts from the play. At some point, Casilda cries, "Not upon us, O King, not upon us." And we get mentions of figures like Alar and Hastur gliding through the clouds. But in spite of this, Alec is trying to hold on. He's trying to think that Boris and Genevieve are his friends and he doesn't want to hurt them, but it's hard. He says several different people, assumedly doctors and friends, come to stand over him, but once he saw Boris. Even as he says now, that couldn't have been possible. After several days, Alex starts to feel better. He takes note that no one around him has mentioned anything about Boris or Genevieve. He assumes this is because of the awkwardness from Genevieve's outburst, and Alec has made it up in his mind that he would say hi to them, make sure everyone was okay, and then disappear from their lives forever. The greater part of him, the part that is loyal to both of them, does not want either of them to be hurt. So when he gets to feeling better, he will see them once more and then vanish forever. I beckoned Jack to me one day and said, "Jack, I want Boris at once. Take my dearest greeting to Genevieve." When at last he made me understand that they were both dead. I fell into a wild rage that tore all my little convalescent strength to atoms. I raved and cursed myself into a relapse, from which I crawled forth some weeks afterward, a boy of 21 who believed that his youth was gone forever. I seemed to be past the capability of further suffering, and one day when Jack handed me a letter and the keys to Boris's house, I took them without a tremor and asked him to tell me all. It was cruel of me to ask him, but there was no help for it, and he leaned wearily on his thin hands to reopen the wound which could never entirely heal. He began very quietly. Alec, unless you have a clue that I know nothing about, you will not be... And he leaned wearily on his thin hands to reopen the wound which could never entirely heal. He began very quietly. Alec, unless you have a clue that I know... There was no help for it, and he leaned wearily on his thin hands to reopen the wound which could never entirely heal. He began very quietly. Alec, unless you have a clue that I know nothing about, you will not be able to explain any more than I what has happened. I suspect that you would rather not hear these details, but you must learn them, else I would spare you the relation. God knows I wish I could be spared the telling. I shall use few words. That day when I left you in the doctor's care and came back to Boris, I found him working on the fates. Genevieve, he said, was sleeping under the influence of drugs. She had been quite out of her mind, he said. He kept on working, not talking anymore, and I watched him. Before long, I saw that the third figure of the group, the one looking straight ahead, out over the world, bore his face. Not as you ever saw it, but as it looked then and to the end. This is one thing for which I should like to find an explanation, but I never shall. This is such an interesting detail to throw in the story. See, the third fate is often the one that represents the end of life. Depending on the depiction of the fates, sometimes the second one is the one that's looking out, as that's the one that's dedicated to the events that happen in your life, between birth and death. But since he says third one, I assume he's talking about the one relating to death. And in these final hours, after Genevieve has confessed her love to Alec, Jack Scott sees the image of what Boris looked like in those final hours carved into the stone. And it's almost like the influence of the King in Yellow had done its job. It had successfully put a wedge between the three of them, and now, at the end of his days, it is compelling Boris to put his own face on the representation of death. When I said earlier that the first story of this anthology, that the statue of the fates gives away what happens to Boris in this story, that couldn't be represented more clearly than Boris putting his own face on the visage of death. Well, he worked and I watched him in silence, and we went on that way until nearly midnight. Then we heard the door open and shut sharply, and a swift rush in the next room. Boris sprang through the doorway and I followed. We went on that way on the visage of death. Well, he worked and I watched him in silence, and we went on that way until nearly midnight. Then we heard the door open and shut sharply, and a swift rush in the next room. Boris sprang through the doorway and I followed, but we were too late. She lay at the bottom of the pool, her hands across her breast. Then Boris shot himself through the heart. Jack stopped speaking. Drops of sweat stood under his eyes, and his thin cheeks twitched. I carried Boris to his room. Then I went back and let that hellish fluid out of the pool, and turning on all the water, washed the marble clean of every drop. When at length I dared descend the steps, I found her lying there as white as snow. At last, when I had decided what best to do, I went into the laboratory and first emptied the solution in the basin into the waste pipe. Then I poured the contents of every jar and bottle after it. There was wood in the fireplace, so I built a fire. Breaking the locks of Boris's cabinet, I burnt every paper, notebook, and letter that I found there. With a mallet from the studio, I smashed to pieces all the empty bottles. Then loading them into a coal scuttle, I carried them to the cellar and threw them over the red-hot bed of the furnace. 6 times I made the journey, and at last not a vestige remained of anything which might again aid in seeking for the formula which Boris had found. Then at last I dared call the doctor. He is a good man. Together we struggled to keep it from the public. Without him I never could have succeeded. At last we got the servants paid and sent away into the country, where old Rossier keeps them quiet with stories of Boris and Genevieve's travels in distant lands, from whence they will not return for years. We buried Boris in the little cemetery of Sèvres. The doctor is a good creature, and knows when to pity a man who can bear no more. He gave his certificate of heart disease, and asked no questions of me. Then, lifting his head from his hands, he said, "Open the letter, Alec. It's for both of us." I tore it open. It was Boris's will dated a year before. He left everything to Genevieve, and in case of her dying childless, I was to take control of the house in the Rue Saint-Cécile, and Jack Scott, the management of the Ept. On our deaths, the property reverted to his mother's family in Russia, with the exception of the sculptured marbles executed by himself. These he left to me. The page blurred under our eyes, and Jack got up and walked to the window. Presently he returned and sat down again. I dreaded to hear what he was going to say, but he spoke with the same simplicity and gentleness. I dreaded to hear what he was going to say, but he spoke with the same simplicity and gentleness. Genevieve lies before the Madonna in the marble room. The Madonna bends tenderly above her, and Genevieve smiles back into that calm face that never would have been except for her. His voice broke, but he grasped my hand, saying, "Courage, Alec." Next morning, he left for Ep to fulfill his trust. It seems that if the King in Yellow compelled Boris to carve his face into the stone of the fates, then it seems it also compelled Genevieve to turn her face to stone as well. Tragically, Boris left everything to Alec. And it is so haunting that Jack mentions Genevieve is now the statue in front of the Madonna within Boris's house that Alec now owns. It's mentioned earlier in the story that Genevieve set for the sculpture of the Madonna. So it is a statue that was made in the image of Genevieve, looking at the literal statue of Genevieve. And the way to make this chemical solution was destroyed by Jack, meaning that as Boris wished in the beginning, the secrets of how to make it died with him. Perhaps this is the reason that Alec came out of his haze. It's like the King in Yellow had the three of them under a cloud, and when its will was completed with Boris and Genevieve, and the two are now dead, Alec has no one else to fawn after, so it lets him go. Or perhaps Alec managed to drive through it because of his humanity, because of his friendship. Because he maintained that thought that he doesn't want to hurt either of them, he was able to break the curse that the King in Yellow had laid upon him. But it seems that Boris and Genevieve were unable to do so. So Alec goes to the house that is now his and comes to the locked doors of the studio where Genevieve's statue now stands. And he can't bring himself to open the doors, so he locks the house up and decides to travel for a couple years. During this time, he stays in contact with Jack Scott. And in one of Jack's letters, Jack says, "What you tell me of seeing Boris bending over you while you lay ill and feeling his touch on your face and hearing his voice, of course, troubles me. This that you describe must have happened a fortnight after he died. I say to myself that you were dreaming, that it was part of your delirium, but the explanation does not satisfy me, nor would it you. Perhaps the ghost of Boris, perhaps the Yellow King within the form of Boris, perhaps after the Yellow King has its hooks in people, it takes their soul somewhere else. It has possession of them like the devil to which they've signed a contract. Perhaps in some way the ghost of Boris did visit Alec as he lay sick in his room." In another letter that Jack writes to Alec, he says, "I have not a care of my own, but I am more restless than if I had. I am unable to shake off a strange anxiety about you. It is not apprehended the ghost of Boris did visit Alec as he lay sick in his room." In another letter that Jack writes to Alec, he says, "I have not a care of my own, but I am more restless than if I had. I am unable to shake off a strange anxiety about you. It is not apprehension, it is rather a breathless expectancy of what, God knows. I can only say it's wearing me out. Nights I dream always of you and Boris. I can never recall anything afterward, but I wake in the morning with my heart beating, and all day the excitement increases until I fall asleep at night to recall the same experience. I'm quite exhausted by it, and have determined to break up this morbid condition. I must see you." For some reason, Jack has this anxiety that the story between Boris, Alec, and Genevieve isn't done. After the two meet, they discuss some things. They go to Boris's grave, and Alec remarks that they should put the statue of Madonna to watch over him. After a couple years had passed and seen Jack, Alec is ready to go back to Boris's home, which is now his, and he begins to live in and enjoy the area and ventures to all the rooms of the house, except of course the studio that holds Genevieve's statue. Until one day, he can't take it anymore. After living in the house for some time, he becomes desperate to see Genevieve's face again, even if it's just the stone face of what was. The heavy doors swung inward under my trembling hands. Sunlight poured through the window, tipping with gold the wings of Cupid, and lingered like a nimbus over the brows of the Madonna. Her tender face bent in compassion over a marble form so exquisitely pure that I knelt and signed myself. Genevieve lay in the shadow under the Madonna, and yet, through her white arms, I saw the pale azure vein, and beneath her softly clasped hands, the folds of her dress were tinged with rose, as if from some faint warm light within her breast. Bending with a breaking heart, I touched the marble drapery with my lips, then crept back into the silent house. Shortly after this, a maid comes and brings Alec a letter. The letter is from Jack Scott, and Jack is freaking out, saying that he is praying for Alec and he had a dream and he's having visions, and whatever Alec does, he must not leave the house, and Jack is coming there at once. While Alec is reading this, the maid is standing there holding a fishbowl with 2 goldfish. The maid says that she expects someone in the house is playing a trick on her, as where the 2 marble goldfish were earlier, there were now these 2 live goldfish flopping about. Marble goldfish were earlier, there were now these 2 live goldfish flopping about. And where the marble rabbit was earlier, someone had replaced it with a live white rabbit. Alec, unsure what's going on, makes his way to the marble lily that the story began with to see that it is reverted into a lily as fresh as the one that was placed into the solution all those years ago. And then the story ends with these lines. Then suddenly I comprehended and sprang through the hallway to the marble room. The doors flew open, the sunlight streamed into my face, and through it, in a heavenly glory, the Madonna smiled, as Genevieve lifted her flushed face from her marble couch and opened her sleepy eyes. So Genevieve lifted her flushed face from her marble couch and opened her sleepy eyes. So Genevieve lived, and presumably gets to live the rest of her life with Alec. This is what I mean about, despite the horrors that Chamber exposes us to, there's a deep romanticism involved. In the first story, as mad and dangerous as Hildred was, Lewis and Constance still got to be together. They got their happy as Hildred was, Lewis and Constance still got to be together. They got their happy ending. And in this story, quite literally, true love's kiss breaks the spell. He goes to the marble statue of Genevieve that's been in there for years, and when he kisses her dress, everything that was marble begins to revert to its true form. Now, this doesn't mean that the King in Yellow was without consequence. I mean, Boris did die. And perhaps, depending on how you interpret the story, before the influence of the King in Yellow, Genevieve might have been happy to live with Boris and Alec as their close friend forever. But we know to some degree before the King's influence that she did care for Alec. Now the 2 of them have each other. It's not that the love or humanity within the story breaks the influence or the impact of the King in Yellow, it just makes it better. And it seemed that the visions Jack Scott was having were of good things. He didn't know why he had this anticipation for what Alec would do, but it turns out it's because Alec and Genevieve would be together again. This also furthers my belief that Boris coming up with the chemical idea in the first place was the direct influence of the King in Yellow, as it's not just a matter of alchemy to turn things to stone, it's a kind of curse. The mention in the goldfish and the flower and Genevieve statue all having a deep glow within its chest meant that they were still alive down there. And once again, when Alec kissed her statue, the curse was broken. So we see in this story what happens when the King in Yellow touches those of a sound mind. It doesn't necessarily hijack them, but it gives them temptation. Temptation to chase a forbidden science, or temptation to throw away a love to chase another. And while the curse was broken, it was not without its consequences. We saw that Alec was tempted with the idea of Genevieve, but he kept his mind solid on his love for Boris and was able to push through it. But we see that Boris didn't do the same thing for the chemical he had created. In the beginning of the story, he says it's awful and he should throw it away, but yet he makes more. Perhaps if Boris threw off this temptation, he could have gotten better as well. It's almost like the King in Yellow itself is representative of a lot of evils that enter the world. If you want to call it temptation, if you want to call it sickness, if you want to call it sin, it's like the play is a disease that rots the mind and drags you further away from your humanity into what the king would have you to do. And while yes, the play has literal features, we get more mentions of things like Casilda or Camilla or of the Lake of Hali, but its influence is the essence of that which wears away at the mind. With that, let's move into our third story, In the Court of the Dragon. In the Court of the Dragon is the shortest of the ones we're going to cover today, and it's also the most explicitly horror, I guess you could say. Maybe the fourth one beats it out, but the third is more standard of a horror story from the time. The quote reads, "O thou who burnst in heart for those who burn in hell." Out, but the third is more standard of a horror story from the time. The quote reads, "O thou who burnst in heart for those who burn in hell, whose fires thyself shall feed in turn. How long be crying, mercy on them, God? Why? Who art thou to teach, and he to learn?" Basically saying it is useless to take pity on the souls that are in hell, because for one, you'll join them one day, and two, who are you to tell God what morality is? The story opens with someone in the Church of St. Barnaby setting in for a church service. There's this really weird thing in the first paragraph when it's talking about the service, where it says, "Behind him came that eloquent preacher and good man, Monsieur C." And once you look at that, that looks to me like a redaction. Look at this, all the way back in 1895. Robert Chambers paving the way for modern internet horror stories by redacting the name of the Reverend. I wonder what SCP he was. In the beginning, our protagonist is talking about paving the way for modern internet horror stories by redacting the name of the Reverend. I wonder what SCP he was. In the beginning, our protagonist is talking about how beautiful the church is. He speaks of how he loves to come here and see the Catholic procession and hear the beautiful organ music, but today, the organ music is different. He says that today the organ music sounds sinister for some reason. From where he's sitting, he can't see who the organ player is, but it's definitely not standard of a Sunday service. However, he seems to be the only one who notices this. He kind of forgets about it and lets his mind wander as the service carries on. But now when they get to another part of the service where the organ is to be played, an even more sinister music begins. I belong to those children of an older and simpler generation who do not love to seek for psychological subtleties in art, and I have ever refused to find in music anything more than melody and harmony. But I felt that in the labyrinth of sounds now issuing from that instrument, there was something being hunted. Up and down the pedals chased him, while the manuals blared approval. Poor devil! Whoever he was, there seems small hope of escape. Ah, look at that, foreshadowing, ha ha ha. My nervous annoyance changed to anger. Who was doing this? How dare he play like that in the midst of divine service? I glanced at the people near me. Not one appeared to be in the least disturbed. The placid brows of the kneeling nuns still turned towards the altar, lost none of their devout abstraction under the pale shadow of their white headdress. The fashionable lady beside me was looking expectantly at Monsieur C. For all her face betrayed, the organ might have been singing Ave Maria. Again, while he is terrified of the music coming from the organ, he seems to be the only one who finds it odd. It's almost as if he's the only one that can hear it. And in the next paragraph, we get an explanation as to why. But now at last the preacher had made the sign of the cross and commanded silence. I turned to him gladly. Thus far, I had not found the rest I had counted on when I entered St. Barnaby that afternoon. I was worn out by 3 nights of physical suffering and mental trouble. The last had been the worst, and it was an exhausted body and a mind benumbed and yet acutely sensitive, which I had brought to my favorite church for healing. For I had been reading The King in Yellow. So we immediately see how The King in Yellow ties into this story. Before our story even began, our protagonist read The King in Yellow, and he is now seeking out religion in order to take that burden from him. The preacher begins preaching. The service begins, but as it does, our protagonist is drawn to look again to the organ. He sees the organ player cross from the organ to a small door that leads to the street outside. He says that he was a slender man, and his face was as white as his coat was black. But our protagonist is He was a slender man, and his face was as white as his coat was black. But our protagonist is happy to see him go and turns his mind back towards the sermon. "My children," said the preacher, "one truth the human soul finds hardest of all to learn, that it has nothing to fear. It can never be made to see that nothing can really harm it." Curious doctrine, I thought, for a Catholic priest. Let us see how he will reconcile that with the fathers. "Nothing can really harm the soul," he went on in his coolest, clearest tones. "Because..." But I never heard the rest. My eye left his face, I knew not for what reason, and sought the lower end of the church. The same man was coming out from behind the organ and was passing along the gallery the same way. But there had not been time for him to return, and if he had returned, I must have seen him. I felt a faint chill and my heart sank, and yet his going and coming were no affair of mine. I looked at him. I could not look away from his black figure and his white face. When he was exactly opposite to me, he turned and sent across the church straight into my eyes a look of hate, intense and deadly. I have never seen any other like it. Would to God I might never see it again. Then he disappeared by the same door through which I had watched him depart less than 60 seconds before. For one, I like the little excerpt of the sermon we hear where the pastor says that the soul itself can never be harmed. Because if our last story, the mask, is anything to go off of, it is the soul or the heart of humans that is the one thing that can pierce through the influence of the King in Yellow. But of course, our protagonist of this story never gets to hear the rest as the organ player draws his attention. An organ player who he describes as having a strikingly white face. A white face, or perhaps a pale face, or perhaps a pallid face, or perhaps the image of the pallid mask. As you probably put together, the loop of the organ player walking from the organ to the door is supernatural. He did it just a few moments before, and it was too quick for him to have gone back to the organ and done it again, especially without our protagonist seeing. And before our story even began, this guy was under the influence of the King in Yellow. So it seems that whoever this organ player is an agent of the king that has nothing for him but hate. Eventually, our organ player is an agent of the king that has nothing for him but hate. Eventually, our character convinces himself that he's just seeing things. There must have been another side door that is closer to the organ, and the guy just walked around outside of the church, and he has a problem with him for some reason, but who cares? He remarks to himself, "Besides, I'm in a church right now, and if there was ever a place for the devil or devilish creatures to be shooed off, it would be in here." But we get a little bit of hypocrisy here in our protagonist's description. He says, "I laughed to myself over this conceit, which at the time I thought very amusing, and sat and chafed myself and everything else from the old harpy outside the railing, who had made me pay 10 cents myself over this conceit, which at the time I thought very amusing, and sat and chafed myself and everything else from the old harpy outside the railing, who had made me pay 10 cent times for my chair before she would let me in. She was more like a basilisk, I told myself, than was my organist with the anemic complexion. From that grim old dame to, yes, alas, Monsieur C. himself. For all devoutness had fled. I had never yet done such a thing in my life, but now I felt a desire to mock." He goes from his desperation and gratefulness to be in the church to talking about how it's ridiculous that a nun would ask any money of him for the church, even mocking the preacher and his stoic nature. It seems that the guy who was so desperate for religious comfort, as soon as he's able to rationalize the organist in his mind, thinks the church foolish. He begins repeating a jingle to himself that says, "The skirts of St. Paul has reached, having preached us those 6 Lent lectures, more unctuous than ever he preached." This is from an old poem called Up at a Villa Down in the City. And in the poem, it's talking about a ridiculous church service. Now, some have interpreted this story to be a criticism against religion. The organist at the church is the vessel of the King in Yellow, so it being there and the church not providing the safe haven the protagonist wants means that the church can't do anything for you. But I don't think that's the case for a couple reasons. For one, Robert Chambers was Catholic, and in a lot of his writings there seems to be positive things associated with Catholicism, so I don't think he's talking negatively about it here. And also, it seems that being in the church was the safe haven, at least for the time. There was the influence of the King in Yellow in the organ music and the organ player on the outskirts of the sanctuary, But the problems don't begin until our protagonist rejects the idea of the church he's setting within. I mean, if the theme we've seen through the first couple of stories is true, that the soul can reject or push off the influence of the king in yellow, then the preacher was the one who delivered that message to our protagonist. As he's trying to tell our character that the soul cannot be harmed, the appearance of the organ player cuts him off. And it's from there that our character begins to disregard the idea of the church. Just as the King in Yellow tried to incorporate the influence of rule and wealth in our first story, or of infidelity or alchemy in the second story, here it's trying to turn away the idea of outside help from religion or churches, instead leaving our character alone with his inner turmoil. After this, our character says, "It was no use to sit in there any longer. I must get out of the doors and shake myself free from this hateful mood. I knew the rudeness I was committing, but still I rose and left the church." As he's walking through the street, it's a beautiful day, people are laughing and singing, but then someone bumps his shoulder and walks past him in the crowd. And from the back, he can tell by the spiteful aura that that's the organ player. And here they're laughing and singing, but then someone bumps his shoulder and walks past him in the crowd. And from the back, he can tell by the spiteful aura that that's the organ player. And here our protagonist says something interesting after witnessing the organ player pass him in the crowd. "I was creeping along, my feet almost refusing to move. There began to dawn in me a sense of responsibility for something by the spiteful aura that that's the organ player." And here our protagonist says something interesting after witnessing the organ player pass him in the crowd. "I was creeping along, my feet almost refusing to move. There began to dawn in me a sense of responsibility for something long forgotten. It began to seem as if I deserved that which he threatened. It reached a long way back, a long, long way back. It had lain dormant all these years. It was there, though, and presently it would rise and confront me." You could view this, if you view the King in Yellow and the organ player now as representative of death itself or inevitability. Then maybe our character is just referring to the primordial urge or threat of death that follows him everywhere, and he feels he deserves death in some way, as all people deserve death in some way. You can also view this as some kind of unforgivable sin in our character's past that he has yet to confront until now, and that the menace the organ player carries is a punishment that he's had a long time coming. So he switches up streets, but while he's walking down another street, he sees the organ player pass again. He leaves the riverside he was walking on and walks through a park in town. He says, "In the full glow, he sat on a bench, children and young mothers all about him. He was nothing but a Sunday lounger, like the others, like myself." I said the words almost aloud, and all the while I gazed on the malignant hatred of his face. But he was not looking at me. I crept past and dragged my leaden feet up the avenue. I knew that every time I met him brought him nearer to the accomplishment of his purpose and my fate. but he was not looking at me. I crept past and dragged my leaden feet up the avenue. I knew that every time I met him brought him nearer to the accomplishment of his purpose and my fate. And still, I tried to save myself. There is an inevitability that the organ player is getting closer and closer, but yet our character runs from it. He keeps walking and passes a crowd, and the organ player emerges from the crowd and gets so close he brushes against him. He says his slender frame felt like iron inside its loose black covering. He showed no signs of haste, nor of fatigue, nor of any human feeling. His whole being expressed one thing: the will and the power to work me evil. Eventually, he just starts making random turns and running throughout the city, finding himself that evening at a small cafe. He says an interesting line: "I longed to hide away in my own den. I resolved to go home, but that was a long way off." It seems that in his running from this inevitability, he had gotten so far from home that he could not find his way back. He tells us that he lives in a place called the Court of the Dragon. It's called this because at the entryway there is a giant walkway that is supported by a large iron dragon. When he talks about his home 5 flights up, he says it's the hiding place of middle-aged students like myself who want to live alone. When I first came here to live, I was young and not alone. Perhaps he had a wife that left him at some point or died, and perhaps he feels responsible for whatever happened. Perhaps that's the reason he feels this inevitability is something he is owed. Eventually, he gets a horse cab to take him home, and despite it being an 1.5-hour ride back to his house, he never sees the organ player again. And eventually, he makes it back to where he lives, back to the Court of the Dragon. My apartment was at the top of a house, halfway down the court, reached by a staircase that descended almost into the street, with only a bit of passageway intervening. Never sees the organ player again. And eventually, he makes it back to where he lives, back to the Court of the Dragon. My apartment was at the top of a house, halfway down the court, reached by a staircase that descended almost into the street, with only a bit of passageway intervening. I set my foot on the threshold of the open door. The friendly old ruinous stairs rose before me, leading up to rest and shelter. Looking back over my right shoulder, I saw him, 10 paces off. He must have entered the ruinous stairs rose before me, leading up to rest and shelter. Looking back over my right shoulder, I saw him, 10 paces off. He must have entered the court with me. He was coming straight on, neither slowly nor swiftly, but straight on to me. And now he was looking at me. For the first time since our eyes encountered across the church, they met now again, and I knew that the time had come. Retreating backward, down the court, I faced him. I meant to escape by the entrance on the Rue du Dragon. His eyes told me that I should never escape. It seemed ages while we were going, I retreating, he advancing, down the court in perfect silence. But at last I felt the shadow of the archway, and the next step brought me within it. I had meant to turn here and spring through into the street, but the shadow was not that of an archway, it was that of a vault. The great doors on the Rue du Dragon were closed. I felt this by the blackness which surrounded me, and at the same instant I read it in his face. How his face gleamed in the darkness, drawing swiftly nearer. The deep vaults, the huge closed doors, their cold iron clamps were all on his side. The thing which he had threatened had arrived. It gathered and bore down on me from the fathomless shadows, the point from which it would strike with his infernal eyes. Hopeless, I set my back against the barred doors and defied him. So while our character thought he was outrunning the organ player was always going to be home when he got there. And as he tries to make his way back onto the street to continue his run again, the gates to the court are closed. And here our character succumbs to whatever the organ player has in store. Now, of course, within the story, the organ player is representative of the King in Yellow. Not only had our protagonist read it, and that's what sent him down this spiral, but the organ player is specifically described as having a white face or bearing the pallid mask. Things we've heard mentioned about Hildred and Alec in previous stories, 2 people who also fell to the King in Yellow. But in analyzing this story on its own, there's a couple of things we see the organ player representative of. The most obvious, of course, is death. As mentioned earlier, if our character is feeling this primordial urge to resist death, even though it's inevitable, then the organ player is sort of the stand-in for the Grim Reaper. Despite how much he tries to run from it, death is always waiting. It reminds me of that short story, An Appointment in Samara. So there's a lot of different renditions of this short story. It's originally said to be an ancient Mesopotamian tale, that one of the first versions was written down in the Babylonian Talmud around the 5th century. However, the most popular version of this story comes from a 1933 play called Sheppy, which was written by an author named William Somerset Maugham. Since the tale is short, I'll just read it in its entirety. And for context, the speaker is Death personified as a woman. There was a merchant in Baghdad who sent his servant to market to buy provisions, and in a little while the servant came back, white and trembling, and said, "Master, just now when I was in the marketplace I was jostled by a woman in the crowd, and when I turned I saw it was Death that jostled me. She looked at me and made a threatening gesture. 'Now lend me your horse, and I will ride away from this city and avoid my fate. I will go to Samara, and there Death will not find me.' The merchant lent him his horse, and the servant mounted it, and he dug his spurs in its flanks, and as fast as the horse could gallop, he went. Then the merchant went down to the marketplace, and he saw me standing in the crowd, and he came to me and said, 'Why did you make a threatening gesture to my servant when you saw him this morning?' 'That was not a threatening gesture,' I said. 'It was only a start of surprise. I was astonished to see him in Baghdad, for I had an appointment with him tonight in Samara.'" Of course, the idea of the story being that one cannot outrun death. As a matter of fact, it kind of has this menacing tone of predestination. The servant was always meant to die in Samara, but he wouldn't have been there had he not tried to run from the inevitable. And here we have our character who is confronted by the organ player beneath the Iron Dragon, which also leads back to interesting symbols earlier in the story. Right before our character begins to mock the notion of setting in church, while he is looking at the church longingly, he says this: "The clear-cut, reasonable face of Monsieur C, his collected manner and easy, graceful gestures, were they not just a little discouraging to the notion of a gruesome mystery? I glanced above his head and almost laughed. That flyaway lady supporting one corner of the pulpit canopy, which looked like a fringed damask tablecloth in a high wind, at the first attempt of a basilisk to pose up there in the organ loft, she would point her gold trumpet at him and puff him out of existence. I laughed to myself over this conceit, which at the time I thought very amusing." And from there is when he leads to say that the nun was more of a basilisk than the organ player. A basilisk is a monster often mentioned in old mythologies that is most often depicted as a giant serpent or sometimes a dragon. So while sitting in the church, he sees the visage of this angel above the pulpit and says if any kind of basilisk were to appear up there, the angel could simply point its trumpet at it and blow it away. But now in his attempt to run from the inevitable, there is no angel to save him from the iron dragon above his head as the organ player finally catches up to him. After the organ player reaches him, the story cuts and suddenly he's back in church. However, this time things are a little different. He notes that one of the women in church gives him a look of disapproval. He then realizes it's a sermon, and in reality, he had just fallen asleep in church. All that about the organ player chasing him down the streets and being beneath the Iron Dragon, that was just his dream while asleep during a service. And being beneath the Iron Dragon, that was just his dream while asleep during a service. He thinks to himself that the organ player was all in his head, until he glances up and sees the organ player walking with the rest of the crowd out of the church. And the story ends with these lines: "But I had escaped him, though his eyes had said I should not. Had I escaped him? That which gave him the power over me came back out of these lines." Walking with the rest of the crowd out of the church. And the story ends with these lines: "But I had escaped him, though his eyes had said I should not. Had I escaped him? That which gave him the power over me came back out of oblivion, where I had hoped to keep it, for I knew him now. Death and the awful abode of lost souls, whither my weakness long ago had sent him. They had changed him for every other eye, but not for mine. I had recognized him almost from the first. I had never doubted what he was come to do, and now I knew while my body sat safe
This is Power Sound. Ultimate Sound. It's not rhythm.
Much longer. Please don't let me become a monster. It's more like baby.